In 1919, World War I had just finished. Germany, as a defeated country, was devastated and faced with reconstruction. But at that time, in the small town of Weimar, a new school was established called the Bauhaus School. This school only existed for 13 years, but throughout the history of architecture, it was so important that many people would call Bauhaus the cradle of modern design. The name Bauhaus is made up of two words, Bau and Haus. The original meaning of Bau and Haus is to build a house. In German, Bau is the English build, Haus is the English house. So it was initially positioned as an architecture school. But over the course of 13 years, Bauhaus didn't set up an architecture department until the 8th year. It mainly played a very important role in design education and design exploration in the early stage. For the next half century, Bauhaus's influence was pervasive. It can be seen in many places and in many furniture design. Therefore, this half century was the half century when modernism ruled the world, which we now call the modernist movement. In the design of the Bauhaus, one chair must be mentioned. This is a chair designed by Hungarian designer Brauer in 1925. You can find that this chair is different from the previous one. In the first section just now, almost all the chairs we saw were made of wood. The earliest furniture designs were basically made by carpenters. Brauer is also a graduate of the carpentry department of the Bauhaus. In 1920, he went to the Bauhaus, entered the carpentry department, and studied in the carpentry workshop. After graduation, Gropius, the headmaster at the time, invited Brauer to stay as a teacher. So he continued in the carpentry workshop as a teacher. In 1925, in order to design a new chair, he ran all over the streets. Suddenly, one day, he got some inspiration from the handlebar of the bicycle. The handlebar of the bicycle is a curved shape composed of metal components. He thought maybe the shape could be used in furniture design. So he started a bold experiment. After making it by hand, he finally finished a new chair. On a frame entirely composed of metal constructions, using leather as a support, a new form of chair was completed. In 1925, Kandinsky, the famous artist who was teaching at the Bauhaus, celebrated his 60th birthday. Kandinsky's full name is Wassily Kandinsky. Therefore, this chair was given to Kandinsky as a gift for his 60th birthday celebration and was named after him, called the Wassily chair. This chair set off a new era, that is what we call the metal era. As the most important material in the industrial age, metal was widely used in many machines, but this chair opened the precedent for the application of metal to furniture. Since then, metal materials have become the new favorite of designers. Designers believe that this material can be used to achieve the ideals that were impossible to achieve with wood. Bauhaus has many similar works in this regard. The most famous one is the chair designed by the famous designer and architect Mies van der Rohe, the third principal of Bauhaus in 1929. This chair is considered a symbol of elegant design. In 1929, the World Exposition was held in Barcelona. In order to show the new spirit of Germany after World War I, the Germans invited Mies van der Rohe to plan and construct the German pavilion. Today, when you go to Barcelona, the original site still retains a replica of the Barcelona pavilion designed by Mies van der Rohe. In a very prominent position inside the pavilion, there is a Barcelona chair. It is said that this chair was designed for the visiting King and Queen of Spain, so the volume was designed to be very large to show this noble and solemn identity. Its design style is completely consistent with the architectural style of the Barcelona pavilion. The stainless steel frame composed of arc crosses is very beautiful and is very functional. The leather cushion is very elegant and has a new sense of form. This reflects the new development of metal technology in the large-scale application of Bauhaus. However, metal materials have a congenital deficiency. For example, metal materials tend to give people a cold, stiff, and impersonal feeling. Many designers still have a skeptical attitude towards it. When the Bauhaus was in full swing, a designer in Finland, Alva Aalto, turned to study new wood craftsmanship because metal craftsmanship is not omnipotent and metal materials are not universal. In the practice of Alva Aalto, he succeeded in taking a step further on the basis of the wood bending technology of Tonnet that we mentioned earlier. The chair we see now is the Pimino chair designed by Aalto from 1931 to 1932. You can find that this wood board is designed by Alva Aalto into a streamlined curved shape, which is very suitable for the curve of the human body. This chair was first used in the Pamio Sanatorium, a tuberculosis nursing home, because the weather in Northern Europe is usually colder, and the cold texture of metal materials cannot meet the needs of patients. Therefore, Aalto redesigned this wood so that it has both a new sculptural beauty and a very good functional shape, which makes it very popular. Therefore, this design by Alva Aalto is also considered to be an improvement of metal craftsmanship, a modification of the modernism of the Bauhaus at the time, with a very obvious expression of the Nordic design style. In the design of this chair, we can see that all design styles have their limitations, and modernism is no exception. After 50 years of modernism, many new modeling forms have emerged, and some new materials have been applied to design on a large scale. That is what we are going to talk about next.